Hey everyone, it's Alexa with the Colby Farms and welcome to my channel. Today we are on episode 2 of the beef broth regimen that I talked about last week. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and click the link below, and that is going to send you to our previous video that we had last week, talking about this beef broth regimen. But we're on episode 2. So we have prepared our bone broth, and I got that all strained out, ready to go. I got it in this nice big bowl. And now we're going to be using our second item for this beef broth regimen, and that is going to be a beef roast. So pretty simple dinner recipe that we are going to do today. I'm going to show you how I prepare mine. Very simple steps, but a couple of the steps are pretty crucial to making sure that your roast tastes pristine, okay? I used to use beef bouillon cubes a lot. I do not use them anymore. Like I said, I try to literally make everything from scratch, and those are just an item that I no longer use in my kitchen. But I really miss that really beefy flavor, and I'm like, okay, how do I get that beautiful beefy flavor that the beef bouillon cubes provide for my roast? And so there's just a really simple, easy step. It's an extra step, but it's gonna make your roast taste real good, okay? So I'm not gonna hold on to it anymore. Let's get into it, okay? First, you're going to need, pretty much with a roast, you can put whatever in it. Obviously, you have a nice, beautiful piece of beef. This is a chuck arm roast that we are going to be using today. So that's ready to go. I have some carrots here. I have an onion and garlic. Obviously, if you can't tell, these are my staples in our diet, especially during these colder months. Starting to get warmer out, but a roast is always a dinner favorite. Yeah, so we're going to get into it right now, okay? First things first, I got my cast iron heating up on the stovetop right now on a medium heat. We always allow our cast irons to eat about 5 minutes prior to when we put a fat in or a piece, anything that you're going to be cooking on there. So it just gives it time to heat all up. Otherwise it can cause some uneven heating and it makes things stick to the cast iron. That's just a tip. All right, second, what we're gonna be doing is move everything out of the way. I like to salt my beef before I go and put it on. You can add whatever to this. You can add different spices. You could add garlic powder, rosemary, salt and pepper, whatever you prefer. I just like a good old chunky salt all over my beef. I think it's gonna really bring out that fat and that flavor in the beef. I'm gonna wash my hands real quick. All right, so now that we have salt on our beef, my cast iron is pretty much heated up. I heated it up a little bit ago. I'm gonna put some butter on the pan, and then we're gonna throw our roast on. So come on. We have our beef roast all seared and ready to go into the crock pot, okay? But first, we're gonna cut up some vegetables real quick. In your roast, as I said before, you can do whatever you want. You could add potatoes in there, you could add celery, you could add carrots, you could add peas, you could add simply whatever you want. We're just gonna do a really simple addition today, and we are going to add onions, garlic, and carrots, all right? First, I'm gonna chop up the carrots. However you chop up your carrots is completely fine. It does not matter, whatever you prefer. We like ours in like short sticks, but like halved. These carrots are already pre-washed. All right, so next we are going to slice up our onion. You could chop it, you could slice it, whatever you prefer. We like ours sliced. All right, and then next we have our peeled garlic. This is my signature move in the kitchen, is peeled, prepackaged garlic that I get from a Zerr Standard. Just makes my cooking journey so much easier. It's what I prefer. So, all right, next we're just gonna assemble the roast. I do assemble the roast a certain way just to be able to get the greatest amount of flavor. You can do it the same way I do, or you could just throw it all in the pot and call it a day. Doesn't matter, okay? So first what I like to do is I like to put a little bit of broth on the bottom. Get some of that fat in there. Okay. Then next I'm gonna lay out my carrots. So if you had potatoes, peas, whatever you want, celery in here, you would lay that all out on the bottom if you preferred to lay it out my way. So next I'm going to take half of the onion and I'm gonna lay it on top of the carrots. And then I'm gonna put my garlic on top of the onion. Next, I'm going to lay my roast right on top. And I'm gonna dump all the juices onto there as well. And why you wanna bring all the juices in, because all the juices that were extracted from the seared roast, that's gonna play a big role into this flavor of this roast. So you wanna make sure that you dump all that onto there. You wanna make sure that you are scraping all those juices off of the pan, because you really want that for your roast. It's going to really bring out that beautiful beef flavor that you want. So now that I put my roast in, I am going to lay more onions on top. If you didn't watch my video on remnants or the beef broth, the video is in the description below. you can watch that as well. But I liked my onions to be on the meat. I think it really brings out that beautiful onion flavor inside the meat, and it always tastes great to me. So I like to have my onions on either side of the beef. And then next, I'm just going to add all of my bone broth. Well, as much as I can. Okay, so that's almost all of it. I like the broth to be pretty much covering the roast. That way it's very much in that warm liquid and it's tenderizing with the liquid. I've found that if I don't put enough liquid in, definitely not gonna get that tender cut of beef that I'm looking for. So make sure that your broth and or water, whatever you're using, is covering the top. Okay, and that's it. Voila, we have our roast. Now I'm going to put it on, you can either put it on high for 4 hours or you can put it on low for 8 hours. It's early in the morning for me, so I'm going to put it on low for 8 hours. Why I assembled it the way that I did is because I like my vegetables, especially my carrots and my potatoes, if I were to use potatoes, to be really soft. There's nothing like cutting into a hard potato and you're just like, man, this it's just not the same. You know, it doesn't go with the feeling of a roast. A roast is supposed to be not only a easy dinner to cook, but it's supposed to be an easy dinner to serve and an easy dinner to eat. Or meal, I should say, because you could have this for lunch or for dinner, whatever you prefer, even breakfast. So with the vegetables being on the bottom, that gives me an opportunity, that ensures me that these vegetables are going to be cooked. They got that nice slab of beef on top. It's gonna absorb that beef flavor and none of my vegetables are gonna be hard. Same thing with the roast. Like I said, I like it covered with the bone broth so it stays tender and it absorbs all that flavor and it just brings out this beautiful roast. I have made many roasts over the years. There have been times I've just thrown it in there. There have been times I've used water, and I have found that this way that I am doing it is the best way, at least I think so. So yeah, pretty simple. So there are different options, different sides that you can make with the roast. Like I've said a few times before, you can put potatoes in with the roast. You can make a mashed potato or you can make a pasta. We are aiming towards a pasta tonight, so I'm going to make a beautiful egg pasta and I am going to put the roast on top. You could make a gravy to go on top. Tonight we're probably just going to make it easy. Put the bone broth right on it and it just brings this beautiful dish to life and pretty simple. So, yep, that's about it. This is episode 2 of the regimen that I use in my kitchen a lot, almost once a month. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, like I said, refer to that video from episode 1, but I'll tell you a little bit here. We are coming up with 4 different meals with 2 big items, bone broth and beef. We made our remnants yesterday. We used the remnants, the bones of the animal, to create bone broth. We're using that bone broth today, and we're making our slab of beef today. This beef for our family is a pretty large piece of meat. We don't have a very large family at the moment, and so whatever's left over from the beef, we are going to use for a dish tomorrow for me, but it'll be next Friday for you. Stay tuned for next Friday to see what's coming, what meal I'm going to prepare for our episode 3. And then once all 4 episodes are out, you'll be able to use this regimen whenever you please, and you just need 2 big items, which is bone broth and beef. So super exciting. There's bone broth left over, so I'm gonna put it with the other bone broth that I have stored in the fridge. Store this and use this for our 4th day of meals. And yeah, that's it. So I'll see you in a little bit when our roast is done. Okay everyone, so our roast is done, ready to go. Let's pull this out. Ooh, pulling off the bone. That's a good sign. Nice and tender. Try to be careful. Some carrots in there. All right. Beautiful. There you have it. There's our roast. Let's see. Let's cut into it a little bit. This piece right here. Nice and done. Just falls right off. Perfect. Okay, so that is pretty much it. That is episode 2 of the beef broth regimen, all right? So we're gonna serve this over some freshly made pasta tonight. And yeah, I'm gonna take whatever broth we don't use with our dinner tonight, and I'm gonna strain everything. I'm gonna take that broth and I'm gonna use it for day 4, which will be the 4th episode for you guys. As I've mentioned before, this is a 4-part series, so if you have not watched episode 1, go ahead and reframe back to that and watch it, see what we're doing, how we make bone broth, and stay tuned for next Friday when I post what we do with the leftover roast. Our family we made enough roast to have for a couple of days. Whatever roast is left over, that is what we are going to use for day 3, but it'll be episode 3 for you next Friday. Once again, when you're doing this regimen, you always want to make enough for your family for the day of and then the next day as well. So that goes for bone broth and that goes for the beef. That way you have 4 days worth of meals and with just 2 big items. But yeah, I've pretty much repeated myself over and over again. Just want to make sure you guys understand. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. If you like what we see here, it just really helps my channel, and it helps my video get out to other people who are trying to learn to cook from scratch. But I am so thankful for you. I'm so glad you stayed and watched. If you make this recipe, let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time. You guys have a great day. Bye.